There are prisons built to hold ordinary people, and then there are prisons built for a single person. Altiplano, a name meaning high plateau in Spanish. Flat, open, surrounded only by endless terrain. Watchtowers, cameras pointed at the doors. A place where escape is impossible by any measure. It was impossible. The 11th of July, 2015. Evening. Altiplano is tense and silent as always. Not peaceful, just controlled. Every sound is recorded. Every movement is being recorded. In one of the most heavily monitored cells in the world, the planet's most powerful drug lord, Joaquín Guzmán, El Chapo, is going through his usual nightly routine. Nothing seems out of the ordinary to the guards watching the monitors. He walks toward the shower area, calmly, without rushing, very relaxed and professional, and perhaps knowing something no one else knows. The camera sees him and then doesn't see him again. One moment he's there. The next moment, there are only empty tiles and dim light in the frame. The shower is running. No one comes out. The findings investigators gathered in the hours and days that followed did not look like an accident. Beneath the shower area, a deep well had been dug into the ground. It was intentional. It wasn't a job that could be done in one night, 1 week, or even 1 month. Connected to this pit was a tunnel long enough to extend beyond the prison walls, beyond perimeter security, beyond the reach of every camera and every guard stationed above. The reports describe details such as the lighting, ventilation, and rail system inside the tunnel. These details stuck in people's minds not only because they were striking, but also because of what they implied. This was not an impromptu escape. It was an engineering feat. Someone, somewhere, had planned this while the world assumed El Chapo was just waiting. The far end of the tunnel emerged from a construction site onto the surface, an ordinary-looking place. The kind of place no one would look twice at on any other day. A door, an exit, and then open air. When the alarm finally sounded, it was almost like a delayed reaction. Like the moment the body realizes it's been injured before the pain sets in. Guards, radios, red lights illuminating concrete corridors. The word spread quickly, then faster, then everywhere at once. He was gone. El Chapo was gone. Those 3 words, impossible words, spread like a physical thing in the prison, like a crack forming in a wall that should never have cracked. A major mobilization began before dawn. Hundreds of federal agents and military personnel moved across Mexico. Barricades were set up on highways. Raids were conducted across the states. The entire machinery of a government suddenly and urgently turned to finding a single man who seemed to be holding open a door that no one else was behind. The search was immense, and for 6 months, the public reaction was not just shock. It was something older and heavier than shock. When you already half expect something to happen, when a situation you predicted comes to pass, a voice inside you says, "I knew it would happen." Questions immediately arose about security lapses, corruption, and who knew what and when. Such a complex tunnel could not exist without help. It couldn't have happened without someone or several people deliberately looking the other way. These questions were investigated. Some were answered. Others were buried in silence. In January 2016, El Chapo was recaptured. It was a military operation in Sinaloa. It was dramatic, powerful, final, or so it seemed. He was eventually extradited to the United States, tried in a federal court in New York, and sentenced in 2019 to life, plus 30 years in prison. He now resides in a facility designed to make a repeat of what happened at Altiplano impossible. Again, a facility designed to hold one man. Perhaps that is the part worth pondering. The lesson here is not about one man's resourcefulness or a prison's failure. The lesson here is that a wall is O. Control is not a tangible thing. Control cannot be measured by the thickness of a wall. It is trust. And as history has repeatedly shown us, trust comes at a price. Sometimes, someone pays. And sometimes, the door opens from the inside.